Hello and welcome back to Mark's Garden UK at Rose Cottage near Nantwich in Cheshire, where I've just bought myself a new set or pair of secateurs. And there's a reason why I've bought that, because somebody's just donated these spectacular bay trees, which actually they were going to get rid of because they've been quite severely damaged in the recent cold weather. But I'm going to rescue these and bring them back to life, but that's for another video. In this little video, I'm going to do an unboxing and a road test on these Kingswood Green professional bypass secateurs. I'm stood next to my recycling bin, and there's a reason for that. And the first thing I want to say is I love this packaging. It's cardboard, and in fact on the box it refers to that. This box and its packaging choices have all been made with environmentally friendly values. That's why the tool wrapped in paper inside. We hope you will recycle this and contribute to less waste and more recycling. So well done, Kingswood Green. Green by name, green by nature. So let's have a look inside this cardboard box. And the secateurs are indeed wrapped in some paper. It feels quite oldie-worldy and quite old-fashioned and quite traditional. Quite like that, actually. There's something else in this box. Let's have a look. There's some cards. Come back to those in a moment. Let's get the secateurs out of the paper. And whilst we're at it, I'll put them in my pocket. That, straight in the recycling. Fantastic. I suppose you could put it in your worm bin or on your compost heap if you wanted to. Another bit of paper, that can go in there too. And here are the secateurs. Now then, there's a little guide to these here, I noticed, in my pocket. And I will refer to this now because this has got the product features on it. Kingswood Green professional bypass secateurs. Now, I don't know why they call them professional, but maybe they are up to a certain standard that people that work in the industry can use. And it says SK5 Japanese hardened carbon steel blade. Japanese. Now I wonder why they would have mentioned the word Japanese when they're talking about secateurs, and I think it's probably a keyword. It's quite trendy, isn't it? Those trendy Japanese secateurs and pruning and topiary tools that you can get at the moment. Maybe that's why they've used the word phrase Japanese. Kingswood, if you're watching this, put a comment in the box below if you want to tell us why you've used the word Japanese. But anyway, Japanese it is. It's got a locking mechanism which is just here, and when you unlock them they spring open. And heavy duty, waiting for solid feel. Well, I suppose it does feel quite solid. What I quite like is I like the it actually says here handle ergonomic design. I like the fact that the crook of the handle there fits into where your thumb is, and I suppose that's great that for grip. It's going to stop them slipping. It's got a spring mechanism here which is useful because you don't want to keep fumbling around. You want them to open up for you. Now that locking mechanism is a little bit loose, and I have a bit of a bugbear with secateurs when the locking mechanism falls back into place and you can't open them again. So I'll be keeping my eye on that. We'll see if that happens or not when I use them. I don't want to create problems. It's not happened yet, in fairness. Grippy silicone covering and aluminium alloy construction. So yeah, so far so good. I quite like the look of them actually. They're professional and actually quite traditional looking. These are bypass secateurs, which means that the blades bypass each other and they're kind of cut like scissors. There's another type of secateur called the anvil secateur where there's a plate and the blade comes down onto it. But these are bypasses, you can see. All right, 2-year guarantee, excellent. Looks like it's a no quibble guarantee. Anything outside of normal wear and tear. Put that back in my pocket. What's on the other piece of card? A money off coupon. They give you a code for 5% off Amazon products. Now I'm going to put my Amazon link for these in the description box below this video, and you can go away and buy them if you wish. And if you do buy them through my link, I do receive a small commission and I appreciate it, and I thank you for your support. These were $16.99, which I suppose is mid-range for secateurs. I'll be honest with you, I don't spend a lot of money on tools because I'm always losing them. And so really that's about my limit, around about the 20 quid mark for a pair of secateurs. Just to have another look at that second piece of card to see if there's anything else on it that was worth referencing. They're asking for feedback. Well, that's a nice thing, I suppose, if they take feedback and they act upon it. And what I also quite like is that, talking about these bay trees, their logo is not dissimilar. I hope you can see that on the camera. Their logo there is not dissimilar to these two bay trees, which I'm about to start pruning. Anyway, should we have a look how they get on? I'm going to do a full video on rescuing these bay trees, but I just want to see how these cut. And I bought a brand new pair of secateurs just for this job because I wanted the blade to be sharp and clean so they don't introduce any disease to this lovely specimen bay plant. So let's go in there. Snip straight through. What I'm looking for when I'm snipping this on this bay tree is I'm looking for signs of life in the twigs. Obviously that's been caught by the weather there and it's died off, whereas if you cut into one that's clearly still alive, you get green in the cross section. Now that's just locked up on me. That's one of my bugbears. That lock has gone into place, so maybe I can tighten that screw a little bit so it's not quite so rattly, but we'll have to come back to that. But anyway, getting back to the point, the cross section is green. It's locked up on me again. That is very annoying. Would it do it if it was... Yeah, it's done it on that position. Yeah, that needs looking at. Let's see how we get on cutting. That's brown. And that's green. Yeah, apart from the fact that the lock locks itself at the most inopportune moments, I think these are lovely and I'm going to enjoy using them, but I won't enjoy using them if they keep locking themselves. So I'm going to be keeping an eye on that. I shall ask Kingswood for some comment on that. And to be fair to them, it's not the first pair of secateurs or loppers that I've had where that's happened. And I can understand why you need a lock, because you want to keep them closed when you're storing them for safety or possibly in your pocket, but I don't want the lock to keep coming back into place when I'm using them. Plenty of life left in these trees. $16.99. I'll tighten that up a bit, see if it's a bit, can you see how it's a bit fluid? I'll tighten that up a bit and we'll see how we get on with that tightened up a bit. The other temptation is to take that off altogether, but then you've lost your lock mechanism. Let's go for a bit of a thicker piece of what looks dead. That's thicker and it just went straight through it. And I've got a holly tree to my right here, holly bush, a holly hedge. So I'm going to go in there and see if I can cut some even thicker pieces of trunk or twig with these secateurs. In here, it's cutting through them quite easily. And there's a piece that's about 1.5 centimetres thick. No problem at all, straight through it. And of course, any secateur will always have its limitations in terms of the size of branch it can cut into. But for anything significantly bigger in diameter than that, you'd go for a ratchet or an anvil secateur, or even a small pair of loppers. And I will link to a small set of loppers in the description box below this video. And again, it's an Amazon link, and if you buy anything through my Amazon links, I will receive commission, and your support is greatly appreciated. I'm having to use two hands because I haven't got the strength in my wrist, but I've cut through that without any problem whatsoever. No, I am 6 foot tall, and I've got quite big hands, so I suppose if you've got quite small hands, you might go for a smaller secateur than this. When it's open, it's a struggle to reach to the other handle. I can reach, and when it's engaged and in your hands like this, it's quite a nice feeling. But if you've got smaller hands, you might not be able to reach to close it up. Right, in fairness, I wanted to give you an update on this annoying locking mechanism. I tightened it with a screwdriver, just 1/4 of a turn, and it took away the fluidity. It meant it stayed in place, and I've been using them now for several minutes, snipping away at this over here, and in fairness, it's not gone into the lock position once at all, so it really just was a question of tightening the lock up. It came loose. I was using them as they arrived, as they were delivered. If you've experienced that when you buy these, if you buy them, yeah, just you might need to just tighten the locking mechanism up just a quarter of a turn with your screwdriver. Don't over tighten them. You can always come back if they get loose again and tighten them again, but don't go damaging the thread on the screw. But yeah, it's solved the problem with no issues now. Very happy.